To me, J Dilla is the greatest producer to ever live. I mean, it gets talked about, but like his influence goes beyond just like hip hop. He really like taught other musicians how to like replay music. Voodoo by D'Angelo, like it probably wouldn't exist without J Dilla. You feel me? My first time like realizing I'm listening to Dilla, I think like the first song I heard was like So Far to Go. I think that's the name of the song. But like when I tapped into like Slum Village and like all the other stuff he got with Common, I was like, this dude's like an alien. You feel me? Like I don't know, it's like it was different. I was like, bro, this is the greatest producer ever. And like I really like grab a lot of inspiration from him.
Hey everyone, hope you're doing well out there. This time, my guest is Shy, a producer and DJ from Louisville, Kentucky, who has produced songs for artists like Jack Harlow, Alan Weiss, Horace Gaither, and Dave Chris. We talked about J Dilla, the art of DJing, the Louisville hip-hop scene, and what it's like DIY touring as a hip-hop musician. Of course, we had to talk about our favorite aspects of production like sample flipping, the perfect loop, and the beauty and mystery of achieving flow state while creating art. This interview with Shy was recorded in December of 2025 and to date is one of my favorite conversations I've had so far. And with that being said, here's Shy.
Yeah, I watched the episode you, Dave, and then the one with Vice and the one with Niche. I like that.
Yeah. Dave's was one of my very first ones.
Yeah,
and it was just really fun because he's just naturally just like a really good just like storyteller.
Yeah, he's a great storyteller.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite producers in the city as well as you.
Oh,
so
I appreciate it, man.
It's really cool.
Dave is slept on as a producer, man. He's a great producer, man.
Absolutely. He's not only just an excellent like teacher, but like his pen is really strong and his production's crazy. And his production's like to the point where it's like he's like teaching others and like paying it forward in such a way and not like just he could be pushing himself as a producer so much more.
I agree.
But he's incredible. Yeah. But Shy, thank you so much for being here today.
No problem.
You're once again, as I was saying, like one of the most prolific producers in the city, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
I appreciate it, man. I really means a lot. Thank you. Appreciate
of course. It. So the first thing I want to go over is a lot of people even from Louisville may not know about Shively.
Yeah.
And so could you tell us a bit about what Shively is, what it's like growing up there, living there, and what Shively really means to the city of Louisville?
I feel like growing up, especially me as like a black kid, like there was like a lot of people I knew from Shively, but they didn't really claim it. I guess it wasn't really cool. They were like, "Oh, I'm from the West End." Mm-hmm. So like when me and Stefan started talking, we like, man, we gotta make sure we really put that out there. Like, no, Shively is on the map, and we come from that. There's a lot of people that I know come from that. And like growing up there, it was just real cool. There's like some things that were kind of dangerous, I guess, a little bit, but like overall, it was like a middle class black area. You know what I'm saying? It was like mostly black people in there, so that's why Shively was like real cool to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd lived in that area for a while at my last spot, and there's just this cool culture around there. It's like one of the few places where you could go to like the liquor store and like haggle for the price.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
That's like unheard of like other places. But it was Lively Shively is the spot. And like I did some of my first like session recording like over there. My friend Cadillac lives in Shively, and he taught me a lot about drum tracking. And so shouts out to him. He is actually on the podcast as well, but he's he reps Shively hard.
Yeah, shout out everybody from Shively, man. Domdy, Luz, like Otez, there's a lot of people I'm missing, but like, yeah, Shively's, they got some cool people that come from there, so it's real cool.
Absolutely. So when did you start sample flipping? And did that come before initially making beats? And like, did you start with production, or where did your journey with music start?
Okay, like 2015, I was a part of this program in the Louisville Urban League. I think it was called Summer League or something like that. And for like whatever reason, like I would just be on the bus. We like go on field trips. I'd be on the bus and I would be listening to music. And for some reason, like that was when I was like, yo, like I really like all the beats I was listening to. Like I would listen to 2014 Forest Drive by J. Cole, or like the stuff that Metro Boom was doing with like Drake and Future. I was like, bro, like I want to do something like this. And my friend, shout out Elijah, Acknowledge, he was like rapping. So I used to like beatbox. I used to beatbox a lot. So I used to like beatbox for him. And then I was like, man, I'm gonna just try to make beats. I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to do it. I'm gonna just try to do it. And when I first started making beats, I always thought like I tried sampling at first, but I wasn't really good at it. So I would like look up to like people like Metro Boomin and stuff. I was like making beats like that, or I would make like beats like Chase the Money, like Dub Smash beats and stuff, or like people that dance to. Like that's how I like came up. But like I always thought that sampling was like hard. But then like I don't know. I guess I just taught myself how to do it. I was like, I want to really learn how to chop up a sample. You know what I'm saying? Especially on like FL Studios, there's like a way you can do it to make it sound smoother and stuff. Like I used to hate chopping up samples. There'd be like little clips in there, like I'm not really doing it right, or trying to get like a sample on beat. I was like, bro, like it used to be frustrating. But like I like sat down, and I taught myself how to do it. And I don't know. I guess like one song that really taught me how to chop samples is "No More Parties in L.A." by Kanye West. Like hearing that song, hearing like how like Madlib, like he didn't really like of course he chopped up the sample, but he really didn't do too much to it. It was like it was simple, but it sounds different from the sample, if that makes sense. So like that song, like yeah, I want to do something like this. Like this is just it's so cool to me, just to really like pick apart a puzzle and put your own puzzle together. That's really chopping them samples is. So it's real cool. Yeah.
It's incredible how like finding that perfect loop
Yeah,
point
exactly.
is like so satisfying, but hard to chase.
It makes your ears tingle. It's like, oh, that's that part right there. Like, okay, and then grab another part. It's just, I don't know. It's very cool. Yeah.
I'd be interested to know like how that like it's connecting like new like neurons in your brain and making new pathways, and when you learn something new, and so you start like thinking differently. I feel like I've heard, you know, when I learned how to sample flick because I watched this show called Rhythm Roulette that I was really obsessed with, and it was so motivating. Like the Ninth Wonder episode, the Big Crit episode, were just like so inspiring to watch them enter this flow state when they grab the record, they put it on, and you can see that they're fully immersed and they're somewhere else, and they're listening, and they got their eyes closed, and they're like, that's the one.
It's almost like you're possessed, like low key when you're hearing something, and then you hear the right spot. It's like, oh, like that's right there. It's like it's so cool. Like, you know, I'm really like a nerd, so like when I be like chopping up samples, I be like, bro, like this is perfect. I'm like locked in on that, so it's real cool.
Yeah, it feels like you're tuned into someone like else's like state of consciousness, but it's layers because it's hip hop. There's layers to it where it's the producer before that, like who was maybe tracking all the instruments together. It's all the individual instruments, like the people who are playing the instruments.
Yeah, fact.
And then the artist's intent behind that as well. The overall feeling of the song. Is it joyful? Is it sad? And tuning into that and then repurposing it for something else, like just something as simple as a pitch shift can change something from major to a minor key and give it a whole new meaning altogether. So how do you go about, like when you're searching for a sample, could you describe that process of when you know that that's the point? For somebody who's just it's so foreign to them, the sample process.
Yeah.
How do you know how to take one part of a song instead of another part of a song? And can you take 2 points and conjoin them? And how often does that happen?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I feel like each process is different. Like just the other day, like I found a sample and I was like, all right, this part and this part makes sense. I can loop that part and make something out of it. But this part is cool too. I think I might save this and make another beat from it. So I'll be doing that a lot too. I feel like the process is different each time. So, but yeah, like I don't know, it's different each time. So, yeah, I really just like if it really grabs my ear and I'm like, oh, that's the one. Like sometimes I could just feel it. But sometimes if I know a sample is real cool and I'm like, I might save this for later. I don't know if I'm feeling this right now. I'll probably like save it and like mark it, you know what I'm saying? Just write down like sample this later or something like that. I'll put in like a little tag on my computer, like, all right, I'm gonna flip this later. But other than that, if I hear something, I'm like, okay, that part right there, that part's crazy, and I'm gonna have to loop that right away. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So how often in life, and thank goodness we have things like Shazam now, because
Yeah.
when you're out in the wild, how, has it happened before where you're in like CVS or somewhere and you just hear something and you're like,
Yeah.
what is that? And you just, it used to be, I remember something I could relate to is like if I'm in like in a record store when I was really young and I'd hear a song or maybe something on a commercial and you desperately cling on to any lyrics you can hear. So
Yeah.
when you get home, you can try to look up the lyrics
Yeah.
and try to
Facts.
find the song, perhaps, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like Shazam now are super nice. So you can like hold your phone up in the air and try to grab the song. Has that ever happened to you before where you're just out in the wild and you hear something that you just have to sample?
All the time, all the time. I remember this one story. Like I was at Tap Room like with some friends. We was drinking, playing pool, and then the song comes on. I'm like, yo, like the speaker was like all the way up there, so I had to like climb on the like table and was doing this. And some random dude was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just jamming the song. The song was fire. What are you talking about?" And then like Otis was like, "Bro, why you bothering him? Like you feel me? Like we was like really trying to figure out what the name of the song was, and I found the name. I was like, "Yo, this shit hard." You feel me? Like we be like really like nerding out and like that when we hear stuff like that in public. So it'd be real cool. Yeah.
Nice. So it felt like there's like different avenues people like find like you discover this giant pool of beautiful music that hasn't been touched before. And Dave and I talked, and Simile and I talked about the pool of like people when people like 5 years ago around COVID discovered like Japanese jazz.
Ooh.
And it was like, where has this been this whole time? This is incredible. Like the way they've interpreted jazz, like American jazz music.
Right.
Has there been any pools of like music that you just like tapped into? Like, it's like you're like mining in a mountain and you hit like this core of amazing minerals. It's like, have you found a genre that really surprised you?
Yes, I ain't gonna lie. And this is because I listen to a lot of Madlib, but Brazilian funk or Brazilian soul music or like anything Brazilian, like, bruh, like, I don't know, bruh. It'd be like the different chord changes they be doing. It'd be so crazy. Like, I've been really into that a lot, like the Brazilian funk or like soul music a lot. Yeah, it's real cool.
Yeah, it's really cool when, in United States, we grow up and we're used to like certain scales and things being like in this kind of garden of like how music is made. But then once you start branching out to these other cultures, you're like, you can do that?
Yeah.
That's allowed? And
exactly.
this is crazy. And it's just like it's really amazing to live in a time where you can experience like all that music across the world at any point. But there's so much of it that you have to really dig. And that's, I think, joyful about it too, is that music never ends, especially production. I joked about like when I first learned about like I wanted to learn how to sample flip. I wanted to learn everything that goes into production, but I definitely found myself in that early loop of I'm working on a snare drum sound for 3 hours straight,
Man, I've
just
been there.
looking for the right one. And I feel like a lot of early producers struggle with that too. They're like, why am I just going through different kick sounds and snare drum sounds? And I imagine that later on you have like this arsenal that you draw from, or you're able to manifest the sound that you're thinking of from your head to the track a lot easier over time because you're like, I know that's the kind of kick or snare I want. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, facts. I feel like it comes with practice. I feel like each time, like when I first started making beats, I feel like there's a difference between like, I'm gonna say this, like when I first started, it was a whole different process than what I do now. I feel like back then I would like overthink a lot, or like I don't know, I would just overthink a beat. And now it's like, okay, now I know what to do. This is, you feel me? I already have the beat in my head. Or if it's not even sample flipping, if I'm like making a melody, it's like it's already in my head. I'm gonna just put it down. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it just comes with practice and comes with just doing it over and over again. It gets easier. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Like just to get it down.
Yeah, just to get it down. Yeah.
It doesn't always stick, and that's the interesting thing about music ideas that come to you, but also just ideas in general. There's this guy, Rick Rubin,
Rick Rubin,
who
yeah.
talks about sometimes these ideas don't belong to us.
Mm,
They come from something that he calls the source,
mm,
and that lives in like this ether that we tune into, like as an antenna through our consciousness, whether it's all collective or individual or
mm.
dualistic or not. Uh, and I really resonated with that because I felt like I could relate to the idea of, I think we all could, of when you have this idea that's like so good, and we'll call it like a song idea or
Yeah,
like a loop or something that you come up and you're like, oh, that's so good. I don't have to write it down right now because there's
yeah,
no way I'll forget it.
yeah,
Like
exactly,
it's too
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Few moments pass by and it's gone
yeah,
as if it never belonged to you in the first place.
yeah,
And it's just, there's no trace of it at all. And so it's just like, get it down as soon as like, because it feels like Rick Rubin says these things like, when an idea's time has come, it will come to you. And if you
yeah.
don't manifest it, it goes to the next artist.
I agree
And
with
I
that,
had
yeah.
another, a person I was recording say something that was like, whoa, that's crazy. And it was Michael Jackson would he'd like have himself medically put under to go to sleep for longer periods of time later in his career, and he described it because he was fishing like in the ether for these ideas, and he would say something like, I have to get this song before Prince gets this song. And it's like,
Yeah,
whoa, there's like some like ethereal battle happening where they're like trying to find that next like idea or song once it's time, and
yeah,
if it arrives to one of them first and they miss it, it goes to the other as if they're like at the top of this mountain, and so they have the best signal or something. It
yeah,
was very interesting to hear that and how seriously like he took that kind of ideology of like, this is how it all works.
yeah. I've definitely felt that. There's a song by Mavi and Earl Sweatshirt called Land Grab, produced by Hollywood Code. Shout out Hollywood Code, he cool. Um, but I used that same sample. I remember like making the beat, and I was like, well, I remember starting the beat, but I guess I was tired. I didn't finish it. But like he low key flipped the sample just how I flipped it in the project, and I was like, dang, like I could have got
Yeah.
that to somebody first, or you feel me? Like I don't know, but like yeah, it'd be stuff like that be happening. Like someone would like get to the sample first before me, or like they would
Mhm.
drop it before me. Like that happens all the time though. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's one of these things we we experience, but we have no grounding in reality to explain how that works. That we're just like, it's probably just
yeah,
probability, coincidence. But it happens in filmmaking too.
yeah,
People will have this amazing idea for a film or any kind of idea, and they'll see somebody maybe a few months later or a week later do the exact thing. And it's
yeah,
because you didn't act on it; it went
exactly.
to somebody else.
You can't
It's
even be
very
mad. It's like
interesting.
yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
act on this, so you know.
Right, and it's like, well, it's glad that it got out there.
Yeah,
So, but it's very interesting. It's like deja vu. Like
yeah,
we all experience it, and it doesn't really make too much sense, but we just kind of shrug our shoulders and like, that's just how it is. Like
yeah. Facts.
it's we just assume maybe it's it's not something fantastic, but it certainly feels like it is.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that, man.
A lot of a lot of my artists really love J Dilla, and I noticed you have a lot of influence from him. I was wondering, like, what is your relationship to J Dilla's music?
To me, J Dilla is the greatest producer to ever live, to
Mhm.
ever like. I feel like his influence don't. I mean, it gets talked about, but like his influence goes beyond just like hip hop. Like he really like taught other musicians how to like replay music. Like without J Dilla, like Voodoo by D'Angelo, like
Mhm.
it probably wouldn't exist without J Dilla. You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like the feel of like how he chops up samples, like the feel of his drums. Like my first time like realizing I'm listening to Dilla. I think like the first song I heard was like So Far to Go. I think that's the name of the song with D'Angelo and Common. But like when I tapped into like Slum Village and like all the other stuff he got with Common, I was like, bro, like this is like this dude's like an alien. You feel me? Like I
Mhm.
don't know. It's like it was different. I was like, bro, this is the greatest producer ever. So I don't know. That's just my favorite producer ever, and like I really like to grab a lot of inspiration from him. You know.
Mhm. Can you tell me about there's this new kind of bootleg culture that you are pushing. Can you tell us about like the like this ain't no game kind of bootleg that you had, and like the
Yeah.
what is it like? Is it juxtaposed to mixtape culture, and what is this new movement that you're pushing with bootleg?
Well, I call it bootleg just because remixes is like unofficial remixes and then putting it out as your own. You feel me? That's kind of like a
Hmm.
bootleg. I be doing that stuff from SoundCloud like just for fun. Like I really like the McGee remix I did and the one you mentioned. Like I don't know,
Hmm.
I really just be having fun with that. Just trying new stuff. Like I don't know, I really like in Louisville, bro. It's hard to like DJ that type of stuff because everyone's like kind of closed minded. But like the culture in like New York and like Chicago, it really be like playing all those like different type of edits and bootleg cuts and shit, like stuff like that. So like that's just cool as fuck to me. I ain't gonna lie, that's
Hmm.
tight. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's pretty close to like that DJ culture
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah.
like more of a close to the deeper like producer mindset. And so I guess that it feels like that's what happens when you marry like deep producing and deep DJing,
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
do both.
yeah.
You DJ, you produce, and somewhere in the middle is like I feel like you could have that bootleg where it's
Exactly,
like you
yeah.
have the deep production knowledge with the deep like remixing and flipping knowledge as
Yeah,
well
facts.
with it.
Because the bootleg is basically just me DJing, but I mean like producing. But like when I do those stuff, I really just be dragging songs together, like dragging different drum breaks, which is still producing. You know, I just
Hmm.
drag different drum breaks and the song, and I flip it how you know what I'm saying. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, and you mentioned like putting things together. So have you used I'm curious about your opinion on this new thing that's been showing up in more DAWs lately,
Yeah,
and it's stem splitting. Th- This has got to be the biggest thing to happen to production ever,
yeah,
in my opinion. And I think we're still seeing like how big it is, because so many of the artists that I've produced with and producers I've worked with don't even know it exists right now.
yeah,
And but I was like pulling my hair out like when I first like I downloaded it on Apple made their own
yeah, yeah.
their own version of it in Logic that works very well. And I know some other softwares had it.
Serato.
Cam said I think FL Studio
Yeah,
has
FL.
it.
Yes, yeah.
But this changes everything.
It does, man.
I the first things I think of are the old songs that were recorded on reel to reel tape that never had stems. When
Yeah,
like full bands got together at the studio and they were like, okay, everybody and go, and they all recorded at the same time. And if the bassist hit a wrong note, they threw the tape out. Everybody had to pay for another one, and
yeah,
they do it again. And so all there's I think of all the producers throughout history that have hard drives full of like songs that they wanted to sample,
yeah,
but there wasn't a point in which the loop could work
yeah.
because there was
Exactly.
like drums there that they didn't
Or
want,
like too
or
much talking, or
too
yeah,
much, exactly, like
yeah.
too many elements overlaying it. And this changes that
It
forever.
does, yeah.
How many producers I feel like who have learned about this maybe like later on in life, maybe the older OGs of production of like learned about this and were like, oh, I got to
Yeah,
go dig up those old hard drives and
exactly.
get
Yeah,
those old records out again. Like this is I imagine it's a very joyful experience for a
it
lot
is.
of
Yeah,
people, and but it has like some downside to it where which I feel like. I'm not sure you feel about it, but some producers were like, "Oh, that is kind of odd and kind of alarming." It's where like I was doing stem splitting, and I first thing I noticed for when I got like beats from other producers with tags on them is the tags right there. You can just mute it.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like that's interesting
It
because like
is.
people are going to be stem splitting YouTube beats and just taking
Yeah,
the tags off.
yeah,
BeatStarts beats that beatstars.com. They're just going
yeah,
to take that right
yeah.
off. But and there is a loss of fidelity you've probably noticed when you stem split and you take an
Yeah,
element out. There's some fidelity loss,
yeah. It is. Yeah,
and but it's the worst it's ever going to be.
yeah.
It's just going to get better and better and better at what it does. So, what has your experience with stem splitting been, and what do you think the implications are for production as a whole because of it?
For me, I love it. I use it all the time. I ain't gonna lie. Especially when I use it mostly when I'm DJing, but like sometimes if I find a sample, I'm like, man, I really wish the singing wasn't at this part because so the drums do this or like the chords do this. I'd definitely be using like Serato stems. Oh, really? I do it on the like the Serato software, but like I know Serato has like a sampler, and I know FL got it, but like I definitely be using it all the time. I love it though. I used to think that a lot of older producers didn't really like it, and that might be the case, but like I was watching the new Rhythm Roulette episode with Ninth Wonder. He was actually using it, and he used it on Ruben Vincent's new album. So like, me personally, I like it. I do. I didn't really think about the whole YouTube effect. And YouTube producers, they trying to get their bread, but now they can like just download it from YouTube and just take that out. That's dangerous though. I will say that. I didn't even think about that, but like for me, I love it though. Yeah, I love using it. So.
I did not know there's a new Ninth Wonder episode where he uses stem splitting.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It really blew my mind. I was like, yo,
That's
he
awesome.
took out the vocals and everything. I was like, yo, that's crazy. Yeah.
The Ninth Wonder episode's my favorite.
Yeah, crazy, bro. Crazy. I didn't know you can flip samples like that until I watched that. Like that was like one of the like videos I used to watch, like trying to teach myself how to chop up samples. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
that's the one I felt like I learned from the most.
Yeah.
And the Big Crit one.
Yeah,
was
Big Crit
another-
went crazy. Yeah.
Having Rhapsody come on at the end and lay the verse down was so
Facts.
cool, and
That's cool.
I've always been a fan of her, and so seeing her like get some shine on that was like really great. Of course, stem splitting has got to be a dream for DJs
It is,
too.
yeah.
Like
It'd be-
my
it'd be
gosh,
so crazy using
you could
that.
make the cool. You could to make transitions that just like people are like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
And I first learned about it from Dave. Actually, he was telling me about Mosius. And he was like, yeah, this new thing, it's pretty incredible. And like I tried Mosius, and that was before it hit Logic or any of the DAWs, and it was pretty rough. It wasn't great, but I can't imagine how it's going to just be perfect later on in just a few years.
That's what I will say. The stems, like the stem splitter stuff, is cool, but like all the other AI stuff, I'm not really a fan of, bro. Like. Like seeing like Timberland and all of them do their thing, I hate it. I really don't like it, bro. I feel like stem like splitting is cool because it's still like it's not really stealing. I feel like with the AI stuff, it's stealing people's ideas and stuff when it comes to music. But yeah, I would say this AI music is getting dangerous. You know what I mean? But the stem split is still cool though so far. So
Yeah, that the AI music thing is very. Is concerning, wild, weird. It's happening so fast,
very fast. It's scary.
It's hard to know like what to do with any of it.
Yeah, bro.
But the stem splitting just has so many implications when it comes to hip hop, but also like I done things where I'll have band practices and I'll record them on my phone. And then I can go up and take my instrument out of the recording. And it would just be like a pretty low quality iPhone recording, but I'll be able to just rehearse by myself, taking my instrument out. And I've thought of like in the future where you could have 0 to close to low latency recordings that you are monitoring what you're listening to on stage, and it's real time taking out certain elements so that you can only hear what you want in your monitors. That would be wild. So you could only hear the drums and the vocals and like be able to, I imagine in the future, in-ear monitoring will be you get the stuff from the board and you in real time can turn up and down what individual things you want or just have it preset and it will be doing it live stem splitting style.
That's right, yeah.
What do you think the biggest effect of stem splitting has been for you? Has it been for your DJing, for your production, or just the reviving of these old tracks that couldn't be stem split? And have you gone back to some of those old tracks that you're just like, oh, I couldn't do this before?
I definitely went back to 2 or 3 tracks when I first got it, but I mainly use it for DJing. Like when I do stuff by myself or when I do stuff with Otez with Shively boys. We be using that them like stem splits all the time, like just all the time, just using it, just not every transition, like not every blend, but like mostly all the time because it's so cool. You could take vocals and put it on a different beat, or you could take the drums of a different beat, put it on a different song. Like it's so cool. So like, I be using it all the time when I DJ. So yeah,
I remember, years ago, and every life all before stem splitting, you would hear the instrumental version,
yeah,
unofficial instrumental versions hit like YouTube or something, and you'd wonder like, how did they do that? And sometimes it would be like a really good remake where you just have a really knowledgeable producer be like, I know what that drum pack is. I know what that synth is.
yeah,
I know what this and this is, and they can get really close. But before that, they had to just carve out the vocal using like surgical EQ in a way that's just like mind blowing. It was just magic. Like, how did you remove the vocal from this beat and do it like, not long after the the song came out? To the point where a lot of and they would get so much traffic to those instrumentals that some record labels were like, let's just release the official instrumentals so we can at least get the traffic for it.
Definitely. Yeah.
So it's crazy that anybody can just do it now and do it like high quality.
It's insane now.
So I was curious I know a lot of people are interested in what DAW you use, what software you use, and for production and for DJing.
Okay, I started making beats on my tablet, Music Maker Jam. Then I moved to GarageBand, and then after GarageBand, I've been on FL Studio since 2016. So making beats. So I love FL. I kind of be doing Ableton when I do stuff for private, or like when I do stuff for Rolly. But I don't know, just FL Studio is just the one, bro. I'm just comfortable using it. I use Serato when I'm DJing. Yeah, that's really it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think any of the like warring DAW culture is kind of silly. Like one is better than the other. I think it is really just what you're most comfortable with, what you grew up with, and they all have really cool like pros, and some what makes them unique. And FL Studio is really cool because like, first of all, you have like really big names, really influential producers like Metro pushing FL, and like Metro was like one of the first ones to be like, let me show you how I do the drums.
Exactly. I was the first producer I used to like, because he used to put beat tutorials on YouTube. Like, I just watch all his videos, just try to learn how to make beats. So yeah, Metro Boomin is like one of the ones. Yeah.
I'd watch the ones of him like showing how to make drums and the piano roll and like how to make the loops, and I'd be like, oh, that's how it works. And it's like, it was really, really cool of him to not gatekeep. And I don't think like he knew how influential that was and how many young people's lives, he influenced and changed, just by like putting us on to the game of like how he does it. And it's like, oh, if Metro's using it, I'm going to use it too.
Plus Metro Boomin as a person, like, well, as an artist, is very like he's one of the ones that producers really look up to, especially me. Because he was like one of the first ones to like actually like his name would be on the album, like it would be like Metro Boomin and 21 Savage. So like even stuff like that, he really helped put other artists on while he was being put on. So like that was cool.
Yeah, I think that is so important, to show producers that they don't have to just be behind the boards. They don't have to be hidden. They can be right there next to the artist as the track, because they're half the song. At least.
Exactly. Yeah,
to be unknown. So some producers may chase the golden ratio of anonymity versus like being successful in the industry, and they find that is like the most sought after thing for them. They like don't want the limelight, but they want everything that comes with it, and I get that. But if you want to get your name out there and you want to work with a bunch of other people and like let people know like who you are, it's really great for producers now to just have their name right there with the artist as a featured artist, because like that's their song too.
Exactly. Like, but there would be no song without the beat. Like,
right. Exactly.
If it was just acapella, it would be cool. Like, all right, but like the beat really makes the song. So like that's cool that Metro and like even K Tronada, Madlib, and like Alchemist, they dropping their own product and having their name like on the name of the album. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think that is huge.
That's huge.
It shows producers that, once again, you don't have to, step aside
Yeah.
and let the artist like take the
Exactly.
light.
Yeah.
It's like it is a team effort.
Yeah.
And before I move on to this next thing, I did want to shout out FL Studio, and I think I do this almost every time or every other time when FL is like mentioned. But I love how FL Studio visualizes busing.
Yeah.
That is super intuitive, right?
Yeah,
It's so
facts. Yeah.
human to just have the string connected to one and going to the other, where busing and other DAWs is just a bit more computer-esque, a bit more.
feel you, yeah.
It's just this number equals this number.
Yeah, exactly.
Find what this number's value is and match it to this value to
It's
this
just really
bus.
easy to me. Like that's why I'm just so comfortable using FL. Like I would never switch. There's a whole bunch of producers, not a whole bunch, but there's a few producers that use Ableton. They're like, bro, you gotta get on Ableton.
Mhm.
Gotta get on Ableton. Like, man, I like Ableton. It's like FL is just like, it's just perfect. I don't know. It just make me comfortable just using it.
Yeah. I also really like how they visualized reverb in their reverb plugin, the stock
Yeah.
one they have. It's
That's
just
cool.
it's brilliant. It's just the size of the room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's got to be so many like UI designers. They're like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, it's
That's
simple,
just so
man. Yeah.
intuitive. Of course, it's just you're showing like the size of the room, because like when you throw terms like wet and dry and resonance and like all these things out there, it's just you think of it like, okay, so it's like how much of the,
Yeah.
but then when you just visualize it,
Exactly.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
They got the
that's
little
what that means.
visualizer on there. You can see how much reverb you actually doing by the size of the room. So it's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love
and
that
I'd
FL.
love to see that like done, like visualizing like I think just like some fundamentals of
Yeah.
like reverb, like difference between what is a plate
Yeah.
versus what is a hall, and just like visualizing those in that way would really help people understand like what the difference is.
Yeah.
For sure. But when you're, I was wondering, like, when you're creating a track with an artist versus you are creating a track and then an artist finds it, how do you balance the creative process of making a song like with another artist? Is it like more of like a dance where you kind of just vibe off each other? Is it more like a debate? Like, how does making a song with another artist, like the Metro Boomin and this person, like when
Yeah.
it's like a collaborative effort? Like a lot of the times young producers may think I make the beat and then somebody hears it and like, that beat's great, I want to go on that when they write to it. But what is the process like of creating the song from scratch together, where you guys are both in the room together? Because that's, I feel like, the next level of
Yeah.
like really connecting, because we talked about what you take away from like a sample. You like, as soon as like a song comes on, you're filled with this like experience. You feel the emotion and the context and this like truly this intimate level where you're just like, I can feel this pain. I can
Yeah.
feel this joy from this so clearly in this indescribable way, where you just feel close to that artist. How do you, and an artist may hear your beat and be like, oh, I see where you're coming from. I'm going to write from that.
Yeah.
But when you're creating the concept together as one, how does that process work for you?
With me, like for the most part, I like making music with people who I have like a relationship with, or like that I'm really close with, or you know what I'm saying, like something in that area. Like I said, for the most part, I'm like that. Sometimes I can send out a beat like, oh, I like hear you on this beat. You know what I'm saying? And like even now, like I'm doing like a little limited beat sale where I'm like doing leases and stuff. But like really, I only like really collabing with people in my team and people I'm like really comfortable with, or like people that I have like some type of connection with, because that's how you make the best music.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, like making like MSG with Horace, like that was like a process, because like we actually know each other. We actually hang out. Like that's really my bro. You feel me? So like that process was just, it was easy. I feel like making an album with someone I really don't know, or making a song with someone I really don't know, it's kind of hard, because like me, I'm kind of like a perfectionist, but I already know that music is subjective. So you might do something that you might really like, and I'm like, that's not really what I hear you on. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why I like when I collab with people, I make sure like we have like some type of relationship, for the most part. I do be selling beats sometimes. Next year I might not be selling a lot of beats, but like yeah, I really like to have a connection with the artist. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I just know that that's the way that it usually goes is, you make a beat as a producer and then somebody else finds it, but there's really something magical about creating the concept from scratch
Yeah,
together in the room
facts.
where, pen is hitting paper at the same time that you're opening the program and hitting the beat
Exactly.
pad, and
Exactly.
you're just kind of bouncing these ideas off of each other.
Yeah, it's like a flow
And
state. Everything is just, what I'm saying, it's not too much overthinking going on. It's just very easy.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I guess it's cool that you can maybe at some point during that you are tuned into that same frequency,
Facts.
and that's where that flow state comes in,
Yeah,
where you're just
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
whoa, now we're tuned into the same radio station pretty
Yeah,
much, and we're
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
okay, we're in it together. So I think that is where some real magic comes from.
Yeah.
But it's really cool that you can create something and somebody else can resonate with it so much and just pick up immediately like where you were coming from when you made that.
Exactly.
But how often does it happen where you've heard somebody on a beat you create and you're like, that is so out of left field, that's not what I expected, but you're like, I love this, like
Oh, I will say this is why I love like making weird beats and sending it to Alan Vice, bro. He be doing like some crazy shit.
yeah, yeah.
Alan Vice is like one of my favorite rappers to send beats to. Yeah, all the time. Like really with Alan, really with Taylor. Shlu be doing like a whole bunch of weird shit. I really fuck with it. I really fuck when he was just doing
hmm
just ignorant, just out of pocket stuff, and I be loving it. But yeah, all the time though. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Alan Weiss and Schlub,
yeah, yeah.
they approach concepts so uniquely. Like
Facts.
Schlub write a song about like waiting in line,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
like
Yeah,
that is so great. Like
yeah,
it's not something we talk about or approach much, but it's something we all have to do. And music really is just about connecting these
yeah.
experiences that create this like life we live together
Facts. Yeah,
and help us just connect through those experiences
yeah.
through the medium of music.
I agree, man.
Um, and and back to the DAWs, I at one point I had joked where like I want to learn like all the DAWs, like have like the Infinity Gauntlet, but they're all the DAWs and be able to go into any studio and just like be like, what are we doing? What do we
Yeah,
got here? But I just gotten to the point where I could probably bounce stems from
yeah,
almost all of
yeah,
them because I've had to at some point. But it really does feel like you just kind of lean into what you know the best, because there is no point I felt with like your program where you're just like, well, I learned the whole program. I know
yeah,
every facet of it, because it eventually does become like an extension of your mind and body when especially when you're able to enter the flow state with your
yeah,
program. That's like mastery level where you're just like, finally, I've gotten here. But I'll still like watch like beginner courses on the programs that I use and advanced courses, because there's still sometimes these super small elements that like
yeah,
I've missed after all this time. And I really do encourage people who are like really feel like they know their program and they're really comfortable with it to watch just like beginner courses, intermediary courses, just every now and then, because you'd be like, yeah, I know that, I know that, I know that. But then you
yeah,
might fall into this point where like, what? That like
yeah,
that hotkey does that? There'll be something like a hotkey that's like, oh, I was like clicking that,
yeah.
uh, like Jans was my first mentor really,
Shout
and
out
we were
Yans.
working in Logic, and it was just something simple as like when I wanted to bounce a track or something, I would just go to like file,
Yeah,
export, bounce, highlight this, and he's like, you can just press Control B. And I was
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
just small things that would just save you a lot of time with your DAWs.
yeah.
And when you're working as a modern day producer, so hip hop's origins go into like sampling, like just in like in reality. Like I talked with an artist who talked about sampling just his everyday life, like
Yeah,
recording his conversation or like his conversation, like checking out at the supermarket, or like the sounds that he would hear like walking down the street. And I thought that was such a, like a novel concept of like just recording and sampling everything in life. And it starts with like holding like a microphone up to a stereo and recording that. But how do you yourself like balance the modern advantages of production while staying true to like the lo-fi and original aspects of hip hop? Like the grittiness of like just holding a microphone up to a speaker and sampling that,
yeah,
to dialing in low end so that it really
yeah,
hits in modern systems. Because I feel like a lot of producers struggle with an authentic sound that's like not too overly produced, but also like not so lo-fi that it feels like low quality.
yeah.
Where do you land on that, and how do you balance that, or do you think about that often?
I don't really think about it often because I feel like every process, not every time, but almost every time is different. I might like wake up one day and I start creating something and it'll be like some soulful shit or like some shit I'm used to. The next day I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try something different. Let me pull out the synth. Let me hit private up. Let me get some keys. Let me make a beat like this. Each day is different. That's why I have so many different types of beats. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can make like a beat that like Baby Keem might get on, like Kendrick Lamar. I make another beat that Rock Marciano might get on. Like you feel me? I might hear those different types of, you know what I'm saying, just different types of styles just every
Mm-hmm.
day. So I try to try something new every week. You know, when I'm comfortable, of course I'm chopping up samples, making just boom bap or like just some soulful shit. But like every week I try to, you know, try something new or try to, you know what I'm saying, try to make something. Or I joke around with Horace like I'm gonna make a radio song. I'm gonna get on the
Mm-hmm.
radio with this one. You feel me? Like just try
Mm-hmm.
to um get inspiration from different producers and different artists, stuff like that each
Mm-hmm.
week or every day. You know, for real, for real. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it is. I think that's what makes hip hop so magical and versatile, is that the umbrella's so big.
yeah,
Like people, I could think like, I think like rock music has a big umbrella, and it
yeah. It
does,
does. Yeah,
because it's rock could even like have like blues in there, but it's also like, like there's soft rock, alternative rock, like, but there's also metal lives under
yeah,
rock, and metal has so many subgenres that is
yeah,
just, it's ridiculous.
yeah,
But in like the same aspect, I feel like hip hop is even just as much or even more versatile, because you have like recording styles and texturing that goes into it. Like
yeah,
I talk about like how it's crazy that Migos and like Griselda like live in the same umbrella, because I they're both valid and awesome in the way that like Migos is like super hyper produced and polished to the T, where everything is just so,
everything is crispy. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
everything's crispy. But Griselda's great because the texture is gritty and
Yeah, yeah,
grainy, and like it's recorded like in a kitchen, literally,
yeah.
like when
Exactly.
where the plugs I met like
Yeah,
was like recorded in a kitchen, like
that's
with
crazy.
like the blue baby bottle microphone,
Yeah,
and it sounds like that, and that's what makes it so great. But uh do you, is I guess that magic like area, and like in hip hop, where like the quality like disappears and you don't think about like fidelity anymore, you just think about feeling and texture.
yeah,
uh is do you find that when you're sampling that, like this is a radio hit, or this is like going to be a dance song, like does that like how much of that do you feel like is added by you, by the producer, and then by the actual artist that's on it themselves?
I feel like. I don't really think about it often. That's why I said earlier. Sometimes I joke about it, like after the beat is made. I'm like, oh, it's for the radio. It's for the hit. It's the hit right here. I feel like I don't know. Whatever idea comes to me, I'll just do it. And whatever, if it sounds real gritty, real raw, if it sounds kind of clean, it's just whatever I'm just feeling that day. I think. I don't really think about that. I don't really think like, oh, this one's gonna get me out the hood, or you feel me? Like, nah, I just create. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah.
And I want to mention that I noticed while just over like the years of following you that you have like a film director's mind, it feels like, as well when it comes to your music.
Yeah.
Uh, when you come out with like a new beat tape or something, it'll be accompanied by these like very cinematic visuals. Where does that stem from, and what are some of your inspirations when it comes to presenting your music as this cinematic experience?
My main inspiration with that is Tyler the Creator. I'll never forget when I think it was the Ego rollout. He was like just dropping a whole bunch of videos and stuff like that. And I always felt like me, like I'm an artist, you know what I'm saying? But as a producer, like a lot of producers when they drop like tapes, they don't really like be promoting it how like an artist would, or like
Mhm.
how someone like Tyler would, or someone like anybody like Steve Lacy or the internet, how they be doing like different rollouts and stuff like that. Like producers don't do that. So I just wanted to bring something different to the table. I really love like coming up with an idea for like promos. Like when I dropped the beat tape with Coop, I was talking to him, and like I really just wanted to the rollout to be like the thing that everyone talks about. Like I was like we was doing posters, we was doing like photo shoots and like the different videos that we came up with. A lot of people like talked about it, and that actually made people want to go and listen to the tape.
Mhm.
So I feel like my whole thing is that like grab people's attention, because a lot of people don't really listen to beat tapes. Me as a like producer nerd, you know what I'm saying, hip hop nerd, I love just listening to just the beats all the time. Like listen to Twami beat tapes or like Knowledge beat tapes. That's the type of stuff I listen to. But a lot of people are not in tune with that, you know. But I feel like the promos that I do can help people like tap in. Yeah,
Mhm. So yeah, just really studying kind of the underground of that craft,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like it's like the your favorite producer's favorite
yeah,
producer,
exactly,
kind
yeah,
of like diving into those like beat tapes.
yeah.
Where do you see like production like that going, as far as people being more of like an executive producer position, uh and producers being more like in the spotlight? Where do you see like the future of production going, as far as producers being more involved in the creation of the song, and not only that, but the visuals and the overall rollout in the future?
I feel like producers are going to get bigger and bigger with that. Especially you see people like K Tronada. I feel like K Tronada like took it to the next level because he's winning Grammys with that. So
Yeah.
that's so cool that he's winning
Mhm.
Grammys. But like, yeah, I feel like it's definitely gonna get bigger and bigger. Of course, like people like Alchemist are like doing stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah,
I got you.
yeah,
So every city, when it comes to any genre of music, has like a story and a certain feel. Like, oh,
yeah,
that's New York hip hop. Oh, that's
yeah.
Chicago hip hop. How would you describe Louisville hip hop to somebody who may not have heard it before,
It's
and
like
is looking for that kind of category?
yeah, I feel like Louisville hip hop, like all together, like the whole scene, it's like a melting pot. It's like a mesh between a lot of different styles. Like I feel like we grab from. I feel like a lot of people who do like boom bap, I guess, type rap in Louisville grab from like New York or like Detroit. I feel like it's just a mixture between a lot of stuff. Like, cause we're like Louisville and Kentucky is like, I guess it's like a southern state. You know what I'm saying? So like, of course, like you got I feel like they grab inspiration from like Atlanta a lot.
Mm.
Uh, just I don't know. I feel like that's why I like Louisville, like the music scene, because it sounds kind of weird, but I like it. You know what I'm saying? I like all
Mhm.
together, like everyone gets their own style, but it's kind of cool. I fuck with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Louisville's definitely. I really feel like it's easy to say that when like you live here, but I really do feel like Louisville is. coming up in this way that is like it's a curve. Like
Yeah.
and I'm really seeing one thing that's exciting, seeing how many new movies are being filmed here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like an artist of mine was like an extra in a Michael J. White film that was just filmed here,
That's
and
alright.
like there's a bunch of film companies that are leaving Atlanta and coming to film here, and I feel like there is like a when the ocean rises, all the ships rise with it kind of thing, where if more art is being created in Louisville through film, then there's going to be more music outsourced from Louisville as well.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for that, and I'm really excited for people to just learn more about the city and it being more than just bourbon and horse racing, and
Yeah.
more than that. What would one thing about like Louisville that you want people to know about the city that makes it unique? Like you'd say.
I feel like a lot of people are just talented here. There's a lot of talented artists in Louisville that don't really get the shine that I think that they deserve. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people, like even in Louisville, kind of closed minded. But like even people outside of Louisville, like it'd be kind of funny that like we be going out of town in New York, and we be like, yeah, we from Louisville. Like who from Louisville? Who from Louisville? We like, oh, Bryson Tiller, Jack Harlow. Like, oh, okay, okay. But it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, we got Bryson Tiller, Jack Harlow, but that's not the whole city. You feel me? Like I feel like
Yeah.
Jack Harlow and Bryson Tiller make way different type of music than the music that we make or like the other people in the music scene make. So like we definitely got more to offer. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about what how you describe like Louisville's current like scene like as a DJ,
Mm.
and like there's production, but what does a DJ kind of look for in an audience, and what is your overall mindset as a DJ coming from like a heavy like production background?
Yeah.
Like I feel like some people may start DJing and then they learn production along the way. Did you start did you produce first or did you DJ first? And yeah, what is that mindset like going from like heavy production background into DJing?
Yeah, I started producing first. I didn't start DJing until 2018, I think, 2018 or
Mm.
2017. One of those years. But yeah, I feel like with me, like especially like with me and Otez, when we DJ, we are trying to read the room, of course. But like once we read the room, it's like, all right, cool. Now we're gonna take you here. This is the stuff that me and Otez really fuck with. We're gonna play what we want. We're gonna mix it in with the things y'all wanna hear.
Mhm.
It's mainly a mixture between those two. I think I learned that like listening, like just watching like DJs like DJ Jazzy Jeff DJ, cause like he's like an older guy, but like sometimes he play like current stuff, but then he mix it in with the stuff that he grew up on, and like he was
Mhm.
just doing his own little variations, like cool things that he does. I don't know. That's mainly what I do when I DJ. Well,
Mhm.
me and Stefan too. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Otez. I didn't mean to say government. My
Mhm.
fault.
So what makes a great DJ and what makes a great producer?
Being a great DJ is reading the room. I feel like because when you're DJing, like first of all, I don't take requests when I DJ, but I feel like reading a room is good because people come out to have a good time. So you got to make sure you're on the vibe that your crowd is on.
Mhm.
Uh, I feel like number two, I would feel like doing good transitions. You ain't gotta be like scratching and everything like that,
Mhm.
but like just abruptly changing the song. I've seen many DJs. Oh my gosh, seen many DJs just do terrible transitions. Just be like fuck it, I'm gonna go to the next song. Like I
Mhm.
remember a DJ actually said on the mic, "This ain't gonna make sense, but I'm gonna change the song. Fuck it." I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, like what? This is just like this is terrible, bro. Like I don't know. I feel like those are like the main two things. Just reading the room. I feel like the third thing is having good taste. Well, I feel like that would be the first thing. Well, having good taste in music. You
Mhm.
definitely gotta have good taste in music when you DJ. But I feel like those three things is that are needed to be a good DJ. Yeah,
Mhm. And there is a lot to the art of the transition.
yeah,
Then
there's a lot.
people think, oh, you just fade one out and
No,
fade it
no,
back in, but
no.
there's key matching
Yeah.
and pitch matching and
Yeah.
and
There's also so many ways to transition. You can do it a number of ways, but like,
mhm.
yeah, I don't know, man. Like, just change the song abruptly. Like, come on, bro. Like, you just killing the vibe. Everybody was dancing to the thing you were playing, and now they're stopping in the tracks and looking up at you. It's like that's embarrassing, man. Like, I don't know.
I've watched like a lot of the like boiler room sets,
Yeah.
and I find that there's like sometimes like a long lull of like people are like just waiting for the next thing to
Yeah,
happen. They're
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
and like the room kind of you can just there is this like feeling in the room that
Yeah.
you are just really connected with, and it's like that people describe like you could cut the tension in the room. It was so thick. Like it's like the same thing like when people are waiting for something or they're just not feeling the track. And I guess a good DJ knows when to like, let's move on to the next
Yeah,
part.
exactly. Yeah.
Let's move on to the
Facts.
next part,
And
like
then
maybe a bit ahead of
also some
schedule.
DJs like be cutting the song too short too. Like they just let it play, but it's like
Mm,
you have to know what part that everyone is waiting for too. Like
mhm.
sometimes like the part be like towards the end of the song. Like it's a lot of different tricks you have to know. Like
Yeah.
being a good DJ. So
Yeah, and just I guess what comes with that is being able to dynamically change as you go,
yeah,
like being
exactly.
like, I this needs to last longer. I can make it last
Yeah,
longer
exactly.
instead of like doing like a DJ press play thing where
Yeah.
you're just kind of letting the track go. You can be like, oh, this song's hitting. I'm gonna let's make this last a bit longer. Add a few more loops in, or
Yeah.
this is not hitting. Let's shorten it out
Yeah.
and go on to the next
Yeah. Fact.
one. So yeah, that's a good insight into DJing. What is a strong belief that you may have had when you first started getting into music that has changed the most drastically?
Oh, that has changed. I feel like when I first started making music, I was trying to make music with everybody. I didn't care how it sounded. I was just trying to get my name out there. Um, but I feel like now, like even if I didn't have some type of like popularity or whatever, I would still think like this. I'm very like selective with like kind of like the type of people I work with. Just not based off music, just off of people as themselves. You know what I mean? Like some people be just doing weird stuff and how they move and stuff. Like sometimes you don't want your name attached to that. I feel like being like very selective, it can kind of throw people off, but like it's it should be good for your like self being. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. Like that's why I keep a tight circle around me. You know, I pulled up here with Hector and Chris, like part of my collective. You know what I'm saying? Always just have a team around you. I would say, yeah, that always have a team around you. That's like the main thing I learned. Because like when you try to do stuff by yourself, it's kind of hard, and then we try to get your name out there, that'd be even more hard. So like definitely have like people that you trust around you, and yeah, that's like the main thing, really.
I think that that's
That's
a
the main
great
thing.
answer.
Yeah.
Is I think in all aspects, especially in right now in this world where like connectivities can be it's so accessible, but because it is so uh, accessible that people don't really actually communicate or are able
Yeah.
to connect with each other. So people most likely are more likely to want to be an island
Yeah.
and not have a team and just try to do it all themselves. But I think that's the best advice you could give
Yeah,
is like have
definitely.
a team of people who are all have the same mindset. And
Yeah.
it's great to have someone who's like one person's in charge of merch, one person's in charge of
Yeah.
social media, one person's
Exactly.
in charge of booking shows, one's part of like all the logistics and stuff that goes into it
Yeah.
because it lightens the load and it makes the whole thing just run so much better.
Yeah. And also I like know that I'm blessed because a lot of people on my team are creatives and they're very talented as well. But like some people are not like and also like I've known a lot of the people on my team for years. Like I know Stefan for like 11, 12 years now. And a lot of people are not fortunate to have a friendship like that. But I would say like once you find like people that you trust and if they understand the vision that you have for yourself, always keep them around. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
because those are the people that are be with you like to the end. You know what I mean? So that's important. You know.
So mentioning that, let's talk about That's Crazy Camp. Tell us about that and the other collectives that you are currently a part of.
All right. You know, in high school, I used to draw on a lot of stuff. I drew on my hoodie. I drew like a star, and I just wrote "That's Crazy." And me and Doughboy went to the same high school, same as Dreams and Cal. Who's also a part of the collective. And Chris went to the same high school. But like I was talking to Doughboy, I was like, man, I want to make this like a clothing brand or whatever. He was like, yeah, yeah. Later on, I was just frustrated, you know, just trying to find like I guess I was looking for a team or whatever, but I didn't know that's what I needed until I was talking to my bro Pinky. Shout out Pinky. Uh, he was like, bro, you need to have a team. That's what you need. And so I was like, I put on my Instagram. I already knew I was going to have Doughboy and Dreams a part of the collective. And Horace, I already asked Horace. He was like, "Yeah, I'm down to be a part of it." I put on my Instagram. I was like, yo, who wants to join a music collective? And Nice and Otez, I think Nice and Otez slid up. We met Hector. He like slid up on like Horace's stories. Like, yo, I want to shoot pictures for you at this show. We did a show with like Rosario, and he pulled up, and the pictures was crazy. And then it turns out he met Close. I was like, oh, we got Adam on the collective. Cole, he's been friends with Doughboy for years, and he started like making like videos, and it's crazy. I was like, yeah, we definitely got Adam to to the collective. So it's just I don't know, it's just like a family. Like we hang out. Oh, I forgot about Zelly. Zelly, it was crazy. Zelly, like when Zelly first started making music, that would be the main person I made music with, like back in like 2015 ish. Like I've known Zelly and Otez the longest. Like we went to middle school together. So like I remember I first like when I first started the collective, we added him late. It's because he stopped making music. He was going through a whole bunch of life shit. You know, I understood that. But when he got back, I remember like he was like showing me like the things he would write and stuff like, yo, like you definitely got to join. And then he started making videos. Like his videos are crazy. Like he has a crazy mind, bro. Like Zelly is one of the most creative people I've met. You know what I'm saying? Even though he be saying a lot of wild stuff sometimes, y'all know he be tripping, man. But that's my dog, man. He's really, really creative. That goes with like Dreams, like very creative person as well. You know, who am I missing? Am I missing anyone else? Oh, Johnny, my little brother, Johnny. My little brother started making beats 2 years ago. He's already going crazy. He got one of the #1 songs on MSG on Horace's project. Got like I think 100,000 plus streams on that song. So like he made that song by himself, like that beat by himself. I didn't really teach him how to make beats. It's really crazy. It's kind of scary, bro. He's a great producer. Who else am I missing? Dave's like the manager. Dave and Chris are the managers of That's Crazy. They help us a lot with shows and stuff like that. Who else am I missing? Is that it? Yeah. There's a lot of people in the collective, but it's a big family. Shout out Cal. I already said Cal, but Cal he working with he be helping us get different type of gigs and doing graphic design, and taking photos and stuff like that. Very creative person. Uh, yeah, I think that's everybody. I think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Having that collective of people, and especially those people you mentioned, are some of the greatest talents, and not just the city, not just the state, but I feel like in like this part of the world, for real.
Thank you, man.
Like,
I'm
really
truly
incredible.
blessed to know them. Like that's like really my family. So like, yeah, it's really cool.
What would you tell like young producers who are listening to this, and they're like, wow, like how do I even like get started, or how do I even overcome like that first like hump of like having to learn, and like what is the most difficult thing that you feel like you dealt with as like a young producer, and how did you overcome that?
I feel like the thing that I struggled with the most was not having enough money for stuff. Like when I first started making beats, I didn't have enough money for a laptop. I would ask my parents for a laptop, and you know what I'm saying, they be like, oh, it's not in the budget or whatever. It was I didn't really have enough resources. So what I did was I started making beats on my tablet. You know, they got apps. You can just make beats on there. So that's where I started. And then like I got the free version of Fruity Loops, but I had an old desktop computer, like a real old one, like a 2003 Windows XP. Like I was making beats on that. But it was like the free version, so I couldn't really save the project. So I would have to like, I guess like save each sound or like save each stem each
Mm.
time I would like get done with a beat. And it used to be exhausting, but like it was worth it though. Like that was like my practice, like when I first started making beats. So like it really just depends. Like you can make beats on anything. Like nowadays, if you have a phone, just you download any app and just start making beats, and then also just watch like YouTube tutorials on how to do stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
I would absolutely agree. Like, especially with the free education that's out there,
Yeah.
YouTube University is, I mean, it's the best.
Yeah.
I've learned
Facts.
pretty much everything through that, but also seeking mentorship in any way you can, if
Yeah.
possible. I know it's not possible for everybody, but if you're lucky enough to be able to reach out to somebody who you really respect in your city, like Jans was that person for me.
Shout out
Like,
y'all.
shouts out to him. Like, he
Yeah.
really helped me learn a lot going forward. But yeah, I totally agree that uh, especially like using just whatever you have around you. I
Yeah.
remember when I was talking to Dom B, he had described when he was young, he's like, I had nothing around, I had no resources to get stuff, so he would record. He had like a cassette tape boombox, so he'd record the beat with the cassette tape. He'd record that in one, and then he would record the vocals on it with just like a
That's
microphone
crazy.
onto it. So if he messed up, then he had to wipe the
You had
tape
to wipe
and
the
do
whole
it
thing.
again.
Yeah.
And so and he had to spit it all the way through, hook verse hook,
Damn.
and like not stop the whole time. And I was like, that's what makes you great
Yeah,
though.
it's
I feel like
dedication right there.
it's the like when you have limited resources and you have to really push yourself, I feel like it makes you even better when you have those resources, because you
Yeah.
know what it's like to not have them and helps you appreciate them more. It's like, having like a really bad guitar when you're starting. It's out of tune, the strings are about to break,
Yeah.
and you learn how to intimately tune the guitar, and you learn how to change the strings, and you learn how to adjust the intonation of the neck of the guitar, and you learn the instrument so much more intimately. Same with like when you're producing and you're like, I have to do it this one stem at a time.
Yeah.
You when you finally are later in life and you're like have infinite stems and you're recording at like super low buffer rate, low latency,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, it's like I remember it was like without, so I can actually appreciate everything that's going into
Yeah,
this as
definitely.
well.
And also, I feel like back in the day, like I feel like now it's easy. I feel like people got it easy, especially if you want to try new things, because we got the internet and it's easy access. Like back in the day, we didn't have FL Studios or like Ableton, nothing. Like you had to like get hardware. Like you had to get hardware to like make
Hmm.
beats. So like, I feel like now like people got it easy. You can just make beats on your phone.
Yeah, the phone
Yeah,
that just everybody has it
yeah,
changes
it
everything.
changes everything. Yeah, I agree.
And shouts out though to the very first one that was here for me and here for all of us, Audacity.
No, Audacity. Yeah, I used to use
Yeah,
Audacity too.
Audacity was always free, and
Yeah,
there are some. I found that that there's some like major podcasts at least out there right now that still track using
that's
Audacity. Like
fire.
they're like top of the industry, and they just use it because it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it
Yeah,
kind of thing.
facts.
But Audacity actually is they are putting like Audacity 2.0 out
Yeah,
for the first time ever. It's like Audacity 2 pretty much. And they're putting everything they can into making it as modern as possible and as free and as open source as
that's
possible.
tight.
So they're going to actually release the code for it so people can modify it in their own way and release modded versions of Audacity. And I think it's going to attempt to have like almost all the modern aspects of Adobe. So
That's
there are
fire.
companies, there are people out there who believe in that, freeware and giving the best tools to young people for free, because that's how, we grow as a society, and you
Yeah,
want to pay it forward and you want to make it easier for the next generation as possible. And it's like, thank goodness that, a young kid can record a Grammy-winning album in their dorm room
Yeah.
where it was impossible
Yeah, it
before.
was,
But
yeah.
you can do that now. You
Do
can
that.
record at least like high quality stems from anywhere,
Yeah.
which is just huge and game changing.
Very
And
crazy.
it's sure and it totally warps and changes the whole like pool of music, but it's all for the better because
Yeah,
like
definitely.
sure like the pond becomes an ocean, but it's the only way it should be. I feel like that
Yeah.
everybody has access to making music and high quality music at that.
Yeah, facts. I agree with that, man.
What I and when it comes to like when you since there's so much music out there, what are some like key elements that you found that when you hear it in music, it just jumps out to you? What is like something that you look for or that you find just always jumps out to you? Where like, whoa, this is unique. This is something that speaks to me.
I love like harmonies. That's why I really love like I really love like 90s R&B.
Mm,
I feel like the harmonies and like the chord progressions they was doing back then were just you feel me? I feel like now R&B is not the same. I feel like 90s R&B and 2000s R&B, like I'd be like listen to the melodies and stuff like bro, this is crazy out of pocket. Like the stuff that Brandy was doing, stuff that like even back in the day, like the stuff that Jodeci and them was doing, like crazy. So I really be listening for like melodies and stuff like that. I feel like when I make beats, when I'm not using samples, I could play keys, but I'm not a strong suit at playing keys like that. So I always like look for stuff like that when I listen to music. Yeah.
yeah, and speaking of that, what is your current relationship with VSTs and uh, MIDI instruments versus sampling? Are
Yeah.
they married together as one, or are they kind of separate for you? Or
I've used a few VSTs. Mainly, I'll be using MIDI instruments. I don't have some myself, but like I have a few friends who like bring instruments to the crib, like bring different synths and keyboards and stuff to the crib. I like using that more than VSTs. Um, I use VSTs sometimes though, but like I really like using like the actual hardware. You
hmm
know.
yeah, and VSTs and another thing for any young people listening, like those, there's so many free ones out
Yeah,
there,
there's a
and
lot of free ones.
if you
Yeah.
don't have like the Akai board or
Yeah.
whatever at home, I remember even as a kid, I found out like uh, you could play like on GarageBand with the keyboard. The
Yeah.
keyboard would be the keys on the piano, and you
Exactly.
could
You
play
don't need all that.
chords and
Yeah.
stuff with it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I thought that just blew my mind, like how cool that was.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you think Louisville's music scene should be focusing on the most right now in this climate of where it's so competitive
Yeah.
and where it seems like each city is kind of trying to be its like own individual island instead of just like a part of this collective. What do you think Louisville uh, needs to focus on the most as far as becoming like one of the big players?
Yeah. I feel like you said, like it is kind of competitive. I feel like with me, I don't. I feel like competition is kind of needed, but like there's like a line. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you start getting too in like too deep into it, it's like now it's like, all right, now it seems like you either like hating or I don't know. I feel like competition is good because you can get inspired by your competitors. You
Mm,
know what I mean? I feel like, and that should be the only reason why it shouldn't be on some like on some hating shit or like like negativity. Especially like if you competing with someone and you know like they're like very good at their craft. You know what I mean? It should be like a friendly competition. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be
mhm.
you doing too much. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's needed, but also um I don't know. And I feel like we kind of learned this when me and Horace went on our first tour, MSG, well, New Black Jacket tour. We just need to get outside of Louisville more to help spread the word of the music, so we
Mhm,
can help bring fans back to Louisville. If that makes
mhm,
sense. So I know sometimes it's kind of hard to get money together for like to do to like do stuff like that, to have shows in different cities and stuff like that. But I feel like a lot of artists need to do that because when we did that, like especially when we went to Chicago, I feel like Horace was able to gain like a lot of fans. Like even in New York too. Like when we do stuff with Quinette, we able to gain a lot of fans outside of Louisville, and then we can bring that back to the States. So like when we do shows and stuff, maybe they might come to Louisville and see the performance. You know what I mean? So I think that's needed. You know.
Yeah, I think that is the number one thing that hip hop musicians don't consider
Yeah.
at beginning stages of their career is touring,
Yeah.
where it may feel like something that they do after they get signed, after it blows up, and that's like the sign that they've done incredibly well is
Yeah.
that the tour starts. But I feel like it is the opposite. You
Yeah.
should start touring immediately.
You gotta get through the mud,
And
man.
that's how I think that I've seen so many bands from Louisville, like they start and they just start touring and touring and touring, and it ends up that they can start doing it for a living, and they do it really well because more than ever, like the space that is the internet, like it feels like anybody can be there.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can do there. Whereas what has its weight in gold is that in-person experience. When people see you in their town in person, it's so much more meaningful than it ever was before in all of history.
Yeah.
Because that it's like that in-person conversation, those connections, the grassroots movement of just like shaking hands with people and talking with them is so meaningful now more than ever because we are becoming more and more isolated.
Yeah.
It's why things like long form conversations like the ones we're having now mean so much because we experience so much short, like, don't call me, text me kind of lifestyle where communication is just kind of breaking down in this way. But we all strive for connection. We want to connect with other people, and going from town to town and performing is huge because you will make that forever connection with somebody there.
Yeah, facts,
where you could, go maybe a year or two and it'd be hard to find that connection maybe online through somebody else. So could you describe what touring is like as a hip hop musician, how you facilitated that and your experience with it? Because I'm seeing a ton of like young bands doing it, but hip hop artists, once again, they feel like it's something that only they should do later on in life, and why it's beneficial.
I feel like it was very hard to do. Like you can ask Chris. Like Chris, I remember me and Chris. I was like the Chris crib, and we would like hit up just different venues. I feel like that was the hardest part, trying to get venues to get them to like, yo, this is Horace Gaither. He's trying to perform. He's a great artist. You know what I'm saying? Here's some of the music. Like, it'll be the hardest part. I remember we was trying to get a LA show. We almost got it until, like, I mentioned, yo, he's not from LA. He's from Louisville. And then it was, like, no response. I was like, because, like, it was, like, really, it was, like, oh, like, we like the music. We gonna talk to the manager and stuff like that. And then, like, we didn't get the show because he's not from LA. So, like, we would go to roadblocks like that. It was kind of frustrating, but, like, we had Dave help us, like, getting, like, the venue in Chicago. And even though we had like, a show in Cleveland, it got canceled. Because, a lot of people, I feel like the venue wasn't really promoting the tickets and stuff like that. Because it's like, bro, like, we're not from Cleveland. So, like, y'all should be promoting the show. And you feel me? We can't really promote it how we can because we're not from there. So, it was just frustrating like that. I don't know. It's like that. That was like the main thing that was frustrating. But it was worth it, though. I feel like when you're doing your own stuff, you're going to go through a whole bunch of, like, roadblocks. But I feel like it's needed, bro. Like me, like Horace, like he didn't want to like just wait until he got signed to go on tour. He wanted to like, all right, I want to. I already know I got fans here. I want to go out and perform for these fans. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. From what I've learned, is that the number one thing that record labels are honestly looking for is touring acts that are already out there doing it.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
And it's like a green flag for them that not only are you capable of doing this, but you're going to do it whether they sign you or not.
Yeah, facts.
Like
Yeah.
they see you, they almost are experiencing like a FOMO kind of thing where they're like, oh, this artist is already like without us doing it. Like we got to sign them before and help it out before they just, do it as an individual artist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the advice I'd give like people who are going state to state, is definitely hit up local artists first.
Yeah.
The venues will most like it's venues are hit and miss. Like they could be pretty cold or just not even like answer at all. But if you link with local artists, they will have better methods of facilitating. Like just like if somebody hits you up for a show of somebody that they're like, hey, I'm doing a tour. Could you help me find a venue? It's like you could probably help them get like at Mag Bar, Spinelli's, Tap, wherever, you could facilitate that in some way. And these local artists, like booking a good tour is pretty. The idea is where you hit up the local artist and they could open up for you, and like the draw comes from the local artist, and they get to experience the touring act. Yeah. And that's like how Louisville punk and hardcore has been doing it since I was like 15 years old. You develop these relationships like through like playing at like Spinelli's downtown or wherever, and touring acts come through and you open up for all these touring acts over and over and over again until you make these full amount of contacts of people from the touring acts. And then you can eventually look at a map and be like, these are all the people that we opened up for and supported. And now we can kind of like make a tour from that as well.
Fire. I feel like that's one thing that we're kind of missing, I guess. Just trying to, I don't know. I feel like the rock scene is different from the hip hop scene. I really like that about the rock scene. Everyone's just like, this is my show and you can come do this show like that. I feel like a lot of people just be, I don't know. It's kind of weird in the hip hop scene, but I feel like the rock scene, like the rock scene got it down packed when it come to like just like doing different stuff, like doing different tours and concerts, like you talking about. Like that's beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think the rock scene does seem to have like this really tight-knit network down where it's like, you help me, I help you, we'll support you when you come, and I'll support you when you come here.
It doesn't feel like that in Louisville a lot of times. So,
but I think that's just something that we can like work on, and all cities can work on, because you go city to city, and like I'm in like this rock group that kind of tries to do both, and like and you see like touring as a hip hop group that the local support isn't as established as much in some other cities. So I think that is something, I think that's where it will move. I think that mindset is like starting to really take hold, that like we need to support each other, and like it's not only the people are just discovering now, it's like you really need to have a team to have together to make this happen. But it's like teams need to, work together. So my team here is going to help out your team there. And like, it's reciprocal. And that's how it all works, is like artists helping artists is how like, at the end of the day, that is like the overall thing. That's like why these tours work. That's why people find success, is they are helping each other out and from afar, and whenever they come down here, you support, and also you just lift each other up, and you both end up like rising together.
Actually,
but sometimes it can be hard for people to get the concept of like helping somebody out and like not being guaranteed that they'll be helped out. But it's just, I think that's just the way that it's going to, that's like the only way almost it feels. Unless, you're the one in a million, like it seems like it was a lot, like it's crazy how at the bleeding edge of like when YouTube was just coming out and all these things, where if you did put out, in like MySpace days too, where like if you did put out this crazy song or this crazy video, there was only so many videos on the platform at that time that you, Katy Perry, it's like you make a video and you put it on this platform that hasn't been like discovered and blown up yet, that like you can truly make it just like off of just like a single video or something. And I think TikTok really kind of reset that clock
Yeah.
because TikTok was like, I'm not sure the exact environment now, but it really, and I think it still is, just like this wild west of like anybody can post something and it can blow up, where it feels like you have to really work with the algorithm or
Yeah.
work and like follow the rules with other platforms like Instagram, where it's like you can't just post something and post it into the void and hope it does well.
No, you
Uh,
got to really promote it. You got to really.
where in Instagram, it feels like you can make a brand new, or on a TikTok, it feels like you make a brand new profile,
Yeah.
make a video, post it into the void, and then it'll just hit.
Yeah.
And because it's like pushing it for you.
Actually.
Where Instagram's like, well, you should be doing it this way and this way and this way and all that
There's
stuff.
too many
So
rules, man.
it's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say the takeaway from that would definitely be, help each other out as much as possible. It's don't be an island. Have a team that you're working with. And speaking of that, like influence from like social media, like how would you describe being able to maintain authenticity in this world where imitation is so rewarded?
Man, I feel like I'll be talking to my friends about this. I feel like everyone is influenced by something. Like even like the person that you influenced from is influenced by so and so. Like I'm influenced by J Dilla. J Dilla is influenced by Pete Rock. Pete Rock. It goes like
Yeah.
so. Like I feel like copying is like I don't know. You can copy someone, but then you have to like make it your own, and like in order to like have your own name. You know what I mean? You don't want people to be like, oh, you're making a so and so type beat, or like feel me, just like, oh, you're just a so and so clone. Like you got to make sure you do something to you feel me to make it your own. I feel like everyone is influenced by something. Like even like art pieces, like probably like a painter is influenced by a different painter. He probably gonna make some like somewhat of the same thing you made, but he probably gonna change it up a few times. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the way to go. Like there's a story that Questlove tells about the creation of voodoo. They are basically just redoing other people's songs, but then like something would happen, like a chord change would happen. Like all right, let's loop that part, and then now it's a whole different song. So like imitation is like it is like I feel like it's needed, but like straight copying someone is like that's not cool. You know what I mean? So.
Who are some like artists you've seen or just people in their craft that are outside of, hip hop and film, these things that you directly draw from that you see that element in where their individuality is like really comes out in this way that's like this is so prolific and so meaningful and inspirational to other people, like and inspirational to you, like outside of music and film.
Outside of music and film, I mean, I like going to different museums and stuff. I feel like I grab inspiration from different art pieces, stuff like that. But I feel like my main inspiration comes from like film and music. I can't really think anything outside of that. Um, Maybe like TV shows. Like I feel like cartoons and stuff. Like cartoons and like hip hop go well together. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't know. It just makes sense. You know what I mean? I can grab inspiration from like inspiration from that. But yeah, not I would say like art pieces. You know what I'm saying? I really like Will C. What happened to today? Very talented man. I really like just looking at his art pieces, man. So like
Yeah. Seeing, I think artists, that is one of those avenues that I look at people. I'm like, whoa, this is
exactly.
especially when it comes to like even like the modern day version of it, like 3D modeling and graphic design, especially graphic design. Like, oh my gosh, like what is like the layers and depth that go into it. Like, it's super incredible. And it's, especially when like you're someone like me, when like, brush hits canvas, it's just a mess. It's don't have any sort of innate talent when it comes to that, that it's amazing that it's just this other, bastion of like creative like influence that you're able to affect people in the same way that like a song makes you feel this painting makes you feel this
Yeah.
way. And I found that even like, this is another modern thing, is video games
Yeah, that too.
and the way music so perfectly works hand to hand with like a video game. Like, and of course, like video games now, especially these days, take a lot from film too, with like more than ever. Where early video games, it's like you'd almost see like no film correlation there, but
Yeah.
now you're seeing. But you still always had music in all early video games, and it's pretty incredible how they were able to, like, with a video game, like, you only had so much memory to work with. And so they had artists like in the studios, like playing actual instruments, MIDI instruments, but then having to compress them so much that it sounds like it became what we call bit crushed.
Yeah.
And it's like where you just take a music file and you take away as much information as possible until you just have only the base, like, fundamentals there. But now we can have like anything, any amount of, we can have gigs of music as part of a game. But what do you see like music affecting beyond like that, those mediums that we experience now? Do you see it affecting like future elements of like parts of our lives? Like, I think of music that could be like, that's played ambiently in certain places, or music that we now incorporate into like how we sleep and how we wake up in the morning. Like, do you see music like being further a part of our lives as technology becomes more prevalent, or less a part of our lives? And what do you see that relationship with music being affected by all these changes in technology, especially with like AI music?
I feel like it go further, but I don't know, the AI music is really, I really hate it, man. I really hate how we have a fake person on the Billboard charts, and they are charting. That's weird to me. But I feel like in general, like, music is powerful. You know what I'm saying? I feel like music is always gonna be here, and I feel like it's gonna keep getting better and better, and like further and further, like you said. But I do think it's like the AI stuff is dangerous. You know what I mean? I really don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't like that. But like, it could be, I don't know. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it.
Mm. Yeah, I think that people are already becoming wary of it, and they don't want any part of it. And I think people can tell.
Yeah.
Just like you can tell with like a video you watch, or immediately like this with a photo. And it is reassuring that even with AI photos that are like really convincing, and even with AI music that's really convincing, there's still this like innate feeling you get, this uncanny valley feeling you get, that you like know something's wrong.
Yeah, like something's off about this.
It's like that same thing that tells you like, oh, something's not right about, maybe we shouldn't go into this room, or like something's wrong with the situation. Something you feel that's like this like sixth sense that we all have that we don't talk about. Like that when you experience it, you're like, oh, I know something's not right here.
Exactly,
And that juxtaposed with like when you hear a song and it's so human and so beautiful, you're like, this. So I think it will filter itself out because people are going to use it and they're going to overuse it. And I think that's not a hard prediction to make, is that people will overdo it. And to the point where people just want to just throw the whole thing out. And I do believe that. And I think there's things that will always stay, but they have always been lower in value to us culturally, which is like commercial music, like the music you hear for like a pharmaceutical commercial, whatever. That's never been, it's been made by people, but it's corporate music, we call it, and it's never been something we like, put on, listen to like in our own time. So that may still end up being like outsourced to AI stuff, but we never were drawing from that in the first place.
Right.
So
and I feel like a lot of people don't know how dangerous it is, bro. It's like, I read somewhere that AI has used way more water than like bottled water companies,
Oh my
and that is
gosh.
yeah. That's like, bro, like
That's
we're cooked.
insane.
It's almost done, bro. Like it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I
Yeah,
think we'll like for sure also like the repercussions of that will happen pretty fast where people are like, whoa, we're running
yeah,
out. We'll
exactly.
just
Yeah,
kind of want to shut it down or pull the switch on that. Because like
yeah,
that's not sustainable.
yeah.
There's
It's
no way
not.
that's
No,
sustainable at
hell no.
all. Uh and when like all these aspects of life and like all these concerns like are happening in during your creative process, and you know you're trying to create a new song, and you end up in like a burnout or a blockage, like how do you overcome like that writer's block, that kind of that that burnout, kind of that, if you've experienced it, I'm sure you
Yeah,
have, like how
yeah.
do you find that you overcome that? Do you step away from the project? Do you try to find inspiration somewhere else? Do you just try to do something completely different? What is your
Yeah.
approach to that?
I think the first thing you do is step away. I feel like when I first started going through stuff like that, I would really like stress myself out. Like, man, why can't I think of nothing? Why can't I make no
Mhm.
beats? Why can't I find no good samples? Nothing's catching my ear. I can't come with no melodies. You gotta just step away from it. You gotta take a break. You gotta do something else. You gotta do something. Probably like go outside or do something, or hang out with your friends or do something. I don't know. You gotta do something out the box, maybe. Um, I
Mhm.
guess like if it keeps happening, one thing I do, I really just watch other people make beats, or I like see one of my friends make beats. Uh, I don't know, just watching other people make music just makes me want to make music. You know?
That's an amazing answer,
Yeah, yeah.
because
So
I as soon as you said that, I'd be like, just watch an episode of Rhythm Roulette,
yeah,
and you will,
exactly. Yeah,
if you don't walk away inspired after an episode of
facts.
Rhythm Roulette, like yeah, that'll definitely do it for you. It's just
Yeah,
like watching other people be excited about it, like
exactly.
even
Yeah,
because that that I think that goes for anything, like just inspiration in general, because like we'll watch like a video on YouTube of this guy like making a clock or something, that
yeah,
some like woodworking, that some we don't do, but like you're just you get excited because they're excited and into it. And I think
yeah.
that's like why like YouTube works so well, is like it doesn't have to be something you're into. You just, if the content is like really well shot and the
Yeah,
quality's there and the person is excited about it, then you're just as excited with them. And I think that
yeah,
also, you know, goes back to music, you know, but music is something that you can like, it's not always like a physical thing that you have to, a skill you have to acquire in order to appreciate. It's something you just immerse yourself and educate yourself about and listen to a lot of, and then you can kind of be into that. So you'd say like, it'd be hard to say I'm really into woodworking if you only watch woodworking
yeah,
videos,
exactly. Yeah,
but you could say I'm really into like jungle breakbeat, you know, kind of music, and because I'm really educated in that, but it's like it's not something that you do physically like yourself,
yeah,
yeah,
facts. Yeah.
as a producer. Um, and you had mentioned like your latest project is more of like the like has some like Brazilian influence to it.
Yeah.
What are you, if you're able to tell us, like working on now, and what could we be coming to expect from you and That's Crazy in the future?
Well, I got a lot of stuff on the way. I'm gonna talk about a little bit of the stuff I got on the way because next month I'm dropping a tape. It's a tape I just put together like last week.
Mm.
I put it together in like 2 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I have a lot of other projects coming out. I know Horace is working on a lot of stuff. That's all I can really say right now, though. I'll say me and Vice got a project. It's already done.
Yeah,
So
now
we
that's
just,
exciting.
yeah. So I'm working on the rollout on that. Hector's doing the cover art. See,
Mm.
I'm excited for that. It's already done. I just gotta mix the songs and we gotta get it mastered. But yeah, that project's
Mm.
already done. It's crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's crazy. Like I said, Vice is like my favorite person to send beats to. If I have like a weird beat, I'm just like, this is a good beat. And I don't know who else to send it to. I'll definitely send it to Vice. I'm gonna see what he does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he'll get it to you like in an hour.
Yeah,
or
bro, he be
something.
working fast, like, bro, like,
His turnaround time is crazy because I've
insane.
had people send him beats and they describe like he got it to me in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, bro, he's
It's like
always
what?
rapping, bro. It's crazy, man. Yeah, shout out Vice. Yeah, that's the only thing I can talk about. I have a lot of other cool projects. Oh, I'm scoring a movie.
Whoa,
Yeah, I'm scoring a
that's
movie.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's so
so
cool.
yeah, it's an independent film by Fitzgerald Jr. But yeah, I'm scoring a movie. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Yeah,
Oh, I'd love to talk about that a bit. Not the details of the movie because obviously that's
yeah,
under wraps. But I had some experience of doing that recently as well. And how do you find like that? How did you approach scoring a film? Because I feel like there's several ways of going about it. There's, you know, you've made some beats already that
yeah,
lend themselves to it, or there's things you can pull from your repertoire that lend themselves to what the theming is. But I feel like the most of it is like watching it and having it there in front of
yeah,
you and creating while you're looking at it.
yeah,
Be like, what
exactly.
is and to second by second, like when does this scene happen? And then when something happens with the character, that's where you add a note and like an inflection and something here. So,
Yeah,
how did you approach scoring a film? Because I do love how Logic has this great way of, it's like Logic has this thing that seems like it's meant for scoring,
yeah.
where you can drag and drop like a video in and
Oh,
it's in the DAW itself, a window there, and it goes along exactly with your timeline of your
yeah,
stem.
that's
So
right.
I'm curious of like how did you approach scoring and for the first time?
Yeah, the first time.
Yeah.
So we're still like working on stuff. He said like right now we're in post production. So right now, like after the post production stuff, then he'll add me in it. But like by reading the script, I already have like a few ideas and like a few melodies already put down. So I already know kinda of what I want to do. So like I guess once I see like the clips and stuff,
Mm.
I'll know exactly what to do. I already know what how to put it out there and stuff like that. So I already got everything in my head and like in my voice memos and stuff like that of
Hmm.
like this like the type of like melodies I'm gonna use and the type of he already told me like he kind of wants me to use samples and stuff, but I already know that's kind of dangerous when it comes to like films and stuff. I ain't trying to get sued, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like
Right. Yeah.
I'm definitely ready to experiment and stuff. I already got I got some cool ass ideas too, so I'm
Mm.
excited to put that out there. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's yeah, and I imagine it's only until you see the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sines that
exactly. Yeah.
it jumps out to you. It's
Yeah, 'cause I
I
haven't seen it. I
imagine.
just read the script. The script's cool, so you know.
Mm,
But
yeah, I imagine almost like I kind of had this comparison in my brain just now about like when a songwriter hears your beat for the first time, it's
yeah,
only until they hear the Shy beat that they
yeah,
know what lyrics to put on it.
yeah, yeah.
But it's only until you see the scene in the film that you know what to put on it. And it
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
probably it may jump out of you like that same way. There's this really cool thing that happens, with a songwriter, hears like your beat for the first time.
yeah,
And I love the way it's described because I felt it myself where it's the moment the beat comes on, it feels like the lyrics just start getting pulled from you.
yeah,
And it's like I've seen it with with people where the beat comes on and they just start rapping. The hook starts coming out and just words start coming out, flows start just naturally spilling out and
yeah,
and they just have to capture that in that moment. So I imagine that'll be the same way with a producer and film score with a film. It's like you
yeah.
have to not just know the concept and everything, but you just have to see the scene, like how it was shot, how it feels, the texture of everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. This is my first time doing something like this. Like, I feel like my goal at first was to do like some like music supervisor stuff first, but
Mm,
like the fact that I'm able like to score a film first, that's real cool, man.
mm.
So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, love to link with you after you're done
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
and
yeah,
hear about your experience with that
yeah,
because
definitely, yeah,
it's super unique and it's not a lot of it's a rare like art to have somebody scoring a film these days. That's not like way at the top because
yeah,
a lot of filmmakers, and a lot of films are great because of this. They do well with this, but they just do the soundtrack kind of method
yeah,
where they're like these are songs that I like, and they will just pay, the royalties or whatever for it, and that just works, and there's certain shows that really lend themselves, certain film that really lend to themselves. I've been trying to think of like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I feel like these nostalgic songs from the 80s really lend themselves to that because it's trying to be a time and place and try to be a time period piece where it's like, yeah, of course these songs are playing at this time. Any like documentary that's being made, if especially of a dramatized documentary, you're playing songs from that time and stuff. So that works there, but creating like this new original piece and having somebody make it from scratch as they're watching it, I think that is so much more intimate and beautiful. It's like why John Williams is like one of the most like prolific composers because he just does everything from scratch, and I'm curious, like how do you, as like a hip hop producer, look at like classical composers, and do you draw anything from that? Any inspiration of like these people that conduct like individual musicians and write like, if it's like a stem of music for each like sheet for each instrument, it's like 120 different like sheets and stems that all harmonize together in this one way. Do you see any like correlation there?
Yeah,
with, like,
all the
what you do?
time. Like growing up as a kid, my mom used to like put on classical music while I went to sleep. So like I love classical music. I think like next year I really want to score like a string section. It's like the song I'm working on with Horace. And like string section is definitely needed in that song. I want to get to like doing stuff like that, just scoring different like string sections and stuff like that. But yeah, I love classical music. I love all types of music.
Yeah, I think personally my favorite are like classical piano pieces.
Yeah, piano pieces too.
Just really, really incredible, super moving
Yeah,
like pieces over time. And it seemed like that for, hundreds of years, the piano was just like the most dynamic instrument that could cover so much ground as far as just like the frequency of sound and stuff.
yeah.
Do you find that you kind of lean towards a certain like frequency range? Do you think about frequency range? This is something that's been brought up to me recently while I've been doing audio engineering, is like looking to aim for a certain frequency range. And I honestly had not thought of like, tuning to 432 hertz or anything like that. Is that something you've touched on or thought about at all?
Nah, I don't think about it at all. I just,
Yeah,
I
you
just make the music.
just go for it. Yeah, I think
Go for it.
that's the way too. Yeah, just do what feels right.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Back there.
is there a certain like philosophy that you carry from like your life, that like the way you interact daily, with people and yourself, that finds that it translates to the like your music making process as well?
Like I said earlier, I keep like a tight circle around me. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I'm always respectful to people that are not in my circle and stuff like that. But always like it's just hard to trust people that you don't really be comfortable around. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's like when it comes to like collaborating with music and stuff like that. I feel like I carry that because I don't know, everything is very, not everything, but like music is very personal to me. So I'm just a very personal person, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of awkward. You know what I mean? Like I keep people that I'm uncomfortable around me. You feel me? All the time. So yeah, I feel like
And I got to ask, do you have any favorite books or authors that you draw from at all?
favorite books. I read a lot of biography books. You feel me? Like, of course, I'm a Dilla fan. Like right now, my favorite book is Dilla Time. Right now, I guess I'm reading this book on the autobiography of Prodigy by Mob Deep of Mob Deep.
Mm.
It's a pretty good book so far. But yeah, I like reading like biography books a lot. Um, yeah, Dilla Time is my favorite one because I didn't know a lot of Dilla's story. It's real cool to like learn about him and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think especially in like creative endeavors, we like draw from people's experiences and like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
they've overcome and who influenced them and how
Facts, yeah.
that's come to influence us. So like reading autobiographies of producers, like
Yeah.
that's like right there of like something that's going to hit
Yeah, facts.
home immediately for you.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your production process that you think that we could improve on as far as like technically? Like I always like to ask like people who are like really in depth into the process and like reaching mastery of like, is there something you think of, oh, this could be improved to make the process easier as far as the user interface or as far as logistically or just as far as anything that will make this process easier? There's things that like happened like that I didn't even think that we needed, like this that were possible, even like the stem splitting. If that's something that you threw out, like, oh, it'd be nice if I could just have all the stems, but that's impossible. But
Yeah,
that's something
exactly.
I'd say
Yeah,
like
now we
10
got
years
it.
ago, you'd be like, no.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you've thought of that you think that could help, that maybe engineers, software designers, musicians?
Not on the top of my head, but there's always room for improvement. You know what I'm saying? With anything, like I don't know, not really on the top of my head though. But yeah.
Yeah. I think I think it just could be nice if we could just find a way to make more things more accessible, more free to people. Because once again, it is really great that you can, create you can track, really high quality stems from home, but to have things like plugins like being hid behind like subscriptions and like really high
Everything
prices and
costs money,
stuff.
man.
And it used to, I think it used to be worse though,
Yeah.
because there was no subscription option. It was just pay $4,000 for this software and this, and it felt gate kept behind just like having, and that's why like the cracked version of FL Studio is probably the most used version of FL Studio.
Exactly,
They have like this one cracked version that just everybody, uses the most. I really am excited about what the future holds as far as production, what it holds for music in general and art. And I think we're just all in this together in this new time that we have no idea what to expect. We don't know what's about to happen. It's changing so fast. I feel like it's something that we had a handle on. Past generations had more of a handle on, as far as like, it was really wild when we went from the medium of like an analog physical medium to a like digital medium that was still physical to a digital non-physical medium where you're pulling from the cloud, you're just pulling from the internet, and it's like it lives on a hard drive until it's printed out. So how do you see the physical medium of music playing out? Like we've seen this like rise of popularity of records and vinyl records, and then we've seen it go down and then it going back up. Like I think records will continue perhaps being prevalent because the way they sound is like really, once again, using this word again, but the texture of like a record when you put it on,
very warm.
It feels good, and it feels good to, I think people will always want to have something tangible from an artist to like pull away from a show. Whether it's a shirt, I think the merch and stuff will stay, but as far as like a physical medium of something like a cassette or a record, my opinion is that people will want to take something away physically and collect it and look at it and have it to represent this moment in time, this music that meant something close to them. But where do you see the physical medium of music going in this world that is ever moving towards a digital overall encompassing medium in itself?
I see it going far, but I don't know. I really wish it was more accessible. You know what I mean? To like have like to do certain things, like to I mean, it is like accessible, but it costs a lot of money to make a whole like press of vinyls to sell. You
Oh
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Or like a press of CDs to sell. But that's something that I really want to start doing more. Especially like I was talking to Coop about the beat tape. Like we really want to put it on CDs and vinyls.
Hmm.
So we're trying to figure out how to do that. I think we found someone how to do it, but we just gotta I think we gotta discuss it and figure out like when to press them up and stuff like that. But I really wish it was like more accessible in the sense of like being more affordable. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I feel like that's important, and I feel like it will definitely go further because right now like having like things on vinyls is like a trend now, or like I don't know. I feel like it'll definitely go further though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think uh, some advantages or some ways of getting around that is like pressing on 7 inches
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of like full.
yeah,
But I'd like to see something like that changes that whole industry.
yeah,
Like if there was a way to take any record that you have around, like go to the record store and buy like a stack of the 10-cent records or the 20-cent ones like that are like, there's every record store has the ones that's like no one's gonna
yeah,
buy
yeah.
these,
Facts. Yeah,
and if there's a way to get an old record and wipe it clean and then press it at home,
that'd be
that
hard.
would be really
Like
a game
a
changing.
cassette. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
yeah,
like a cassette
yeah,
or even like a T-shirt
yeah,
where
yeah,
you can, if it's a blank T-shirt, then you're good. You
yeah,
just screen press it. But if it's had something on it already, you could like screen print like a white square or a
yeah.
black square on it, and then your logo on it.
That would
I
be
think
perfect.
that would be that's something I've like. Think I had like a dream about that or something. That I think it'd be really cool to. It would suddenly like records everywhere would like suddenly have a whole new value and meaning to
Yeah,
them, and it'd be cool to be able to wipe them and press them at home.
yeah, that's tight. Yeah,
But yeah, it feels like there's lots of trends people try digitally, like uh, making it like making your record something that's like limited, like it lives on your phone for a little bit, but after a certain amount of time, it disappears and to never be seen again, or
yeah.
some scarceness like that. But I, I think it's something that people should just own forever. But um, is there anything that that you're looking forward to that you think that innovations in music will bring?
Um, anything I'm looking forward to? Not on the top of my. I mean, I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff when it comes to music. Um, like with me and my journey, I'm looking forward to just keeping on like getting better at making music. I'm not saying that like I need improvement. Like I already know that me and my team make great music, but like there's always room for improvement, and I'm
Hmm.
really just looking forward to like just getting better at my craft each and
Hmm.
every day. Cause I don't think I'm like I already know I'm good at what I do, but I'm trying to be like the best at it. You know what I mean? Like me
Hmm.
and all the folks around me trying to be like the best that we can be. You know what I'm saying? Because me, I feel like I'm in competition with myself. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't really like. Yeah, I see other producers. I'm like, oh, this is a great producer. You know what I'm saying? I see the talent and stuff like that. But like me, I'm trying to get better for me. You know what I mean? Like that.
Hmm.
So like I don't know. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the beautiful thing about
Yeah.
music and production is there is never a, oh, I know it all.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
There's
never,
never, it would
never.
be a tragedy if one day, you woke up, you're like, I know all of music.
Yeah, I'll be
And
depressed, man.
I remember saying that to Casey Powell once. I was like, well, if you woke up one day and you just knew everything about music, and he said, you'd wake up the next day and there'd be 100 things you didn't know that would just been invented,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
that's the environment we live in.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's just like any craft, but music more than all, because there's this great quote called that goes, "There's 88 keys on the piano,
yeah,
but the music is unlimited."
yeah. I love that.
From that, just an entire universe of music and
Yeah,
emotions and experiences, and new experiences are being had every day, unique ones that we can all relate to that haven't been, and different inflections of those experiences and new angles and avenues of exploring them that are truly infinite, that have yet to be explored. There is no end to music. There is no, these certain amount of chords have been used too many times. And so it's truly infinite, which is just really beautiful about it. So there's infinite growth that comes from that, infinite progress, infinite music, infinite experience.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get better at what I do, like, and it's crazy, like you said, it's 88 keys, there's only 12 notes, and there's so much you can do with 12 notes, man. It's so wild. So yeah, music is everything. Music is a beautiful and powerful thing. Yeah.
And I think we're going to come to discover some fundamental things about music and how it affects us that will surprise us a lot.
Yeah, facts, yeah.
I think we'll find that music affects us in ways that we did not quite understand until we come to understand some more advanced physical things about maybe quantum physics, like how things affect us at the very small like level.
Yeah, facts,
that like we may come to understand like why more intimately why when like our gym song comes on, it makes us like really hyped, and versus the song that makes us like really contemplative on the drive home.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
But with that being said, thank you so much for being on the pod, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
It was really excellent talking to you. And where can we find you?
On Instagram at shot exclamation 3 times. I think that's my name. On Instagram. I think on Twitter, shot exclamation 3. You follow me on SoundCloud, type in Shy with the 3 exclamation point marks.
And this week you can get the boot camp.
Yeah, you get the bootleg stuff.
Bootlegs, yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of remixes and random bootleg stuff on there. I'm gonna start posting more on there too. Yeah, I think that's it. Follow That's Crazy on Instagram at That's Crazy Camp. Yeah, man. Pop up at a show. I'm DJing with Shively Boys. Every month. Almost every week, probably every other week, we had Atomic. We gonna start DJing at Spinelli's more. We gonna start DJing at just different venues around the city. It's kind of hard to get venues sometimes when it comes to just just having just a pop up, just DJing gig. But like we get into it though. We out here. Follow Shively Boys on Instagram as well with a Z.